There's been a lot of talk, a lot of hope. Basically, all of that has been dashed over the last several years. Here we are again. Is there any chance, should I ask, whether we could actually see some kind of corporate tax reform?
Yeah, I'd keep your money on the side on that one, Trish. I'm not sure that I'd stick that right in the pot and lay a big bet. Look, I mean, is it possible? Sure, but there are so many things that they're not going to be able to do that are a lot easier that I suspect that we're not going to see a major corporate tax reform line. For, among other reasons, the New Ways and Means chairman, the tax writer Paul Ryan, is a huge potential Republican presidential or vice presidential candidate. I can't imagine the Democrats handing him that kind of victory this year and a lot of momentum heading into 2016.
But, you know, in a way, it wouldn't be his victory. It would be the president's victory, right? I mean, and this gets back to a lot of the Republicans' complaints that we've seen is why is it that we're not seeing more leadership from him? Why is there not more coming together? Are both parties really equally to blame here, Jonathan?
Well, look, yes, I think they're both to blame, and so is the American public in terms of sending people to Washington at odds with each other. I mean, blame is maybe the wrong word. It's that the public is electing a Democratic president and Republicans for Congress. And I think what they're saying in that is that they want them to either work together or not get anything done at all. What they don't want is the country moving hard in the right direction or hard in the left direction.
Phil, any more talk about what can be done on the immigration front?
That's more or less dead, Trish. Look, I think there's three things right now. If you look at what what Republicans in Congress are talking about, what the president's talking about, it's infrastructure, potentially some type of tax reform, probably broad-based, as John says, not really in the cards right now. And if you would think immigration actually had a chance, it wouldn't have been such a toxic issue in the 2014 midterm elections. The idea that it could come back up and actually move forward with Republicans in control, particularly in the House, with what the president has done unilaterally, with what Republicans are looking at electorally, I just don't think that it's something that you're going to see move forward anytime soon. But on infrastructure spending, taxes, maybe.
You wonder about that because, you know, here we are now in an economic environment where we're finally seeing GDP growth. A lot of people had said all along that we needed to spend more money, right, in order to see that. Now that we're getting some growth, now that we're adding jobs to the economy, could the case be made, Jonathan Allen, that, you know what, we don't need more spending?
Well, certainly there could be that argument could be made and is being made by a lot of people on the Republican side. But you're also hearing some Republicans say we do need to invest in infrastructure. You're starting to hear even some Republicans talk about increasing the gas tax as a way of paying for the highway bill this year. The Highway Trust Fund is going to run out of money fairly soon. So I think there's some talk within the Republican Party about this, but still the major philosophy there is to restrict spending, not to find new ways to do it, and certainly to keep taxes down, not find new ways to raise them.
You mentioned the gas tax. I mean, that's pretty incredible to me because Phil Mattingly, you know, finally the U.S. consumer is getting a break. Finally, they're feeling a little bit better because they get a little bit more money in their pockets because they don't have to spend as much money to get back and forth to work every day at the gas pumps. So the idea of taxing that at a time like this, you know, you question whether or not that's going to have the net positive effect that you'd want on the economy. Does it have any legs, Phil?
It complicates the issue. I think there's no question about it. What's going to be really interesting to see over the next couple of weeks is if people are able to put what's going on with gas prices right now, plus the need for infrastructure spending together and figure out what the major impact is. I think, as John's noted, there's some really key Republicans who are either saying that they're for an increase in the gas tax or at least leaving the door open right now. But you don't even have the Obama administration, the president himself, getting behind something like that. And as long as Democrats aren't willing to kind of go all in on that yet, there is no reason for Republicans to, at least from their perspective right now, to try and come to the middle. I think any idea of raising taxes, Trish, as you know better than anybody, is just not something that people are going to clamor to do, particularly when you're seeing prices drop the way they are right now.